So hello and welcome to the Gentle Mondays class. So it's the New Year series. So we have three classes, just half an hour sessions. And one of the things I am always interested in kind of working with, practicing, is how we support our spine, work with our spine, energize our spine, release our spine, and also find a sense of strength and length in the spine. So we're going to work with those for this first New Year class. So we're going to start standing and then we'll spend some time later on the floor on our back. So just so you know the kind of plan over the next 30 minutes. So coming to your standing position, and initially, we don't do this particularly often, but we're going to start with the feet fairly close together. So you'll know in terms of where your knees come together, where your thighs come together, where you're comfortable with your feet. So some people will actually want their feet coming close together. I go for about a fist width distance between my feet. And that feels for me like I've kind of got some connection between the legs, and there's that kind of central, it almost feels like the legs are joined and connected and stable as one, rather than two individual legs of support. So that's what we're working with to start off with. We can bring our hands just to the sternum just for a moment. So just to the front of the chest, this kind of area here. So for some of us, what might happen, I'll just show from the side, is that we might be slightly coming forward. So this positioning of the hand is partly to remind us to see whether we can lengthen through the front of the sternum, which is effectively lengthening through the spine. Hopefully that's clear and makes sense. So just giving you that as a reminder. Okay, so finding your position, and we're just going to release the hands and swing them out to the side and up towards the sky. And we're going to bend the knees as we do so. But if you feel like you don't want to bend the knees, or you want to do something slightly different in the movement, please do. So I'm bending the knees and releasing the hands, and then lengthening through the legs and maybe looking up if that's comfortable. I'm bringing the hands down and bending the knees, and bringing the hands just up to the navel, and releasing and extending. So let's just see how that feels in the body as we release. So you can do a single bounce or a double bounce. So I'm kind of taking the knees down, I'm taking the knees down. So double bounce is nice, but if you feel like actually just taking the knees down once is enough, then that's what you do. So we're finding the earth through the feet, then we're lengthening through the whole of the body, the spine and the side body. And we're finding a way to some extent, use the flow and the momentum from the earth and from our arms coming down to help them really go up with ease within our own kind of range. I know some people will have maybe tight shoulders or issues with shoulders. So see if you can be really gentle with that, really soft with that, as we lengthen the spine through this movement, through this rhythm. Okay, so sometimes we use rhythm, sometimes we really connect with the breath. So see how this goes as a rhythm for a moment or two, and we'll change position soon and we'll see how it feels to work with the breath. So how's this feel in the body? So for me, it's a little bit around creating some energy, and that's what we're looking for, energy in the whole body, but particularly through the spine. Okay, so a couple more. Finding the flow, and then just be still. And just, you know, it's not a big movement, but that kind of speed might have kind of affected the heartbeat, might have speeded up a little bit, and the breath may have changed. So just take your hand to the belly and to the area somewhere around the chest, and just let the shoulders relax down and let the breath calm and the heartbeat calm for a moment. I'm going to take my feet to hip distance apart. Now, up to you. You can keep the legs close together if that's a really comfortable position for you. And just feeling the breath. So we're going to get sort of accustomed to the breath here before we do the next series of movements, which are broadly the same. Yeah, sweeping the arms up. So if that's not comfortable, then you just take the arms up as high. Use one arm if one arm is feeling uncomfortable. Just giving it a break. Okay. So just feeling the in-breath and feeling the out-breath here. And just being interested whether you're breathing through the nose or not. Whether you're just breathing through the mouth or whether you're breathing through both. So just be interested in that for a moment. Okay, and release. And just give the arms a little bit of a shake out, the legs a little bit of a shake out before we do a similar move, and we'll move our legs in a different position, and we'll move our body after this one. Okay, so I'm suggesting, you need to feel comfortable. I'm suggesting about hip distance apart. And notice where your feet are going. So again, you need to feel comfortable. So some people, you will have your toes out to feel comfortable, but just see what it might feel like to have the feet coming straight out from the ankles, if you like. So the second, third toe heading directly away from you. And that tends to support a little bit more strength in the legs, but for some people, just alignment for their feet will be in a different position. So be comfortable. Okay, so hands back together to remind to lengthen through the spine and through the sternum. Relax the shoulders and the jaw. And when you're ready, taking an in-breath and the same movement. And out-breath. So we can slow the movement up potentially. And we can also feel more like the arms are going through water, so there's some resistance, so there's some strengthening going on. So you don't even need to look at me, you know this movement really well now. And if you want to add in coming onto your toes when you go up, you could do, coming to the balls of your feet. So this one plus 2 more. Final one. And relax. So taking the feet out wide now. So you will know what your wide stance is and what feels comfortable. So I'm now going to a little bit of a squat, just so I take the weight down through my pelvis, bending the knees so that I feel the earth more strongly. Maybe feel the earth more strongly through the heels, feel more connected in that way. So lots can go a little bit awry in the center. So what can happen is that I can end up tucking a lot with my bottom underneath, or I can end up sticking my bum out quite a lot. I want to try and avoid either extreme so that I'm sitting in the middle, so the weight's going down centrally. Okay, so wanted to leave you here too long, but just as a reminder that we're not particularly at this first point looking to change that. Wanted to find out where our middle is, and then we'll work between in a moment. So sweeping the arms out to shoulder height, palms facing me, facing forward. And this is where we can change things a little. So just looking up and opening through the chest a little bit. And then out breath and round the back. Now you can tuck the bum under, tuck the tail under of the spine. In breath, opening out and lengthening and maybe looking up. So there will be more of an arch in the back at this point. And rounding the back and looking down. So we're keeping the legs as they are, yeah, so they're not straight in any part of the process. There's this little bend in the knees. So again, you can choose whether, if the arms come down to relax the shoulders, that's great, that's fine. And if you find the breath might help you here, because we're kind of flexing and extending the spine, rounding and arching to some extent here. So a couple more. And lower the arm. Let's give the arms a break for a moment. Let's get the legs back in. And feet maybe shoulder distance apart. Lengthen through the spine. Lengthen through the spine. And then from here, just come into a subtle, soft twist so the shoulders can relax and release. But there's still a sense of the spine being long, lengthened. And you can take your gaze behind you if that's comfortable. Arms are just ragdoll arms. Breath is still present. And from here we can do a bit more active movement with the arms where we bend at the elbows and we wrap those around the centre of the body, giving the kidneys a little bit of a wake-up call, hydration, and we're also reminding the diaphragm to wake up. And moving again to soft version, I should really like the active version. You can stay with that a little bit longer if you wish. And then just let things come to a soft stop. And then again, just feel the energy in the body. So you might feel tired. What I mean by that is a kind of vibration, a tingliness in the body, a warmth in the body. And that might not be everywhere. It may not be easily felt for all of us. But it's just interested in whether that's kind of waking up the body a little bit. Okay, so we're going back if we can, if you can find a comfortable way. So my toes come out on this one. For most of us, that's more comfortable. If it isn't, if you want to keep the feet forward, then do, but you can see how it is with the toes out slightly. Okay, so we're starting with the same kind of positioning for the arms. And again, you can relax the elbows down if that feels better for the shoulders. And from here, we're just tilting and sweeping the top arm over. Yeah, it's difficult to see. It's almost like we've got a huge ball in between our hands and we're just letting it go from side to side. And you'll go where you go, yeah, with this. So it's a side-to-side movement for the spine, yeah, waking up the more bendy movement of the spine. We've rotated it, we've arched it, we've flexed it, we've extended it. Just giving a different movement for the spine to wake it up in a different way. Just finding free movement, keeping the knees slightly bent if we can. And reach out so the palms face away. That makes the underarms feel quite strong. And then release. Bring the legs together. So wrap our arms around, give ourselves a bit of a hug. So shoulders now forward. A bit more rotation for the spine in a different way, with the shoulders forward. And release, and opposite arm for the hug. And then shake out, shake out, shake out, shake out, shake out. Breath be free. Okay, so a movement that most of you will be familiar with, maybe one or two of you won't remember. It's maybe a little while since we've done this movement, so I'll show you the whole sequence, and then we'll do that together. So I'm stepping forward with one foot so that I can bend this front knee. And I want to make sure that I'm more train tracks than tightrope, so that I've got some stability here. I sweep the arms up and I straighten my leg. I then create my arms into cactus arms or hands up position and look up, so I'm getting that length through the front of the sternum again. And then I bend from the hips here, a little way down, yeah. Just the legs bend in this position. And then use the foot, strengthen the foot and the leg to get myself back to where I started. And I lengthen and then also straighten that front leg. I release the arms and step forward. Okay. So probably most of you will remember it from previous. So finding your position and stepping forward or stepping back, and just check before we do anything that you feel like you're stable. Got this front knee initially bent, so we've got more connection to the ground. That's what we're looking for, more connection to the toes, the feet, the weight going down, support of the earth, so that we can move from there with that support. Okay, and what often helps is just bringing the belly in just a little bit. Yeah? So we don't want to be tightening so hard that we lock in the belly, but we want to get a little bit of support so that our lower back's protected, and we're recognizing that this is a stronger movement. Okay, so from there we're sweeping the arms up and straightening that front leg. Feel the length through the whole thigh body here. And then as we create this cactus arms, we bend front knee and we slightly lengthen through the upper spine. Relax the shoulders down. And then from here, we're going to gently tip forward from the hips rather than from the lower back. So the weight will come forward. We push through with that front foot, front leg to get ourselves back up into where we were before. We're extending the arms up and straightening the front leg. And we're allowing the arms then to float as we step forward for a moment. Okay, so we've done one side, so just see how it feels in the body, whether you feel like things are out of kilter or one leg feels different to the other leg, length or connection, how it feels in the shoulders. So you may feel a bit of difference from one side to the other, probably mostly in the legs. So either stepping back or stepping forward in order to do your second side. Obviously I've done one side once. Okay. Again, just bring your belly in. So we're talking about like 20%, not 100%. And so you've got a bit more support from the center. Really feel the feet connected and grounded through into the earth and support the earth. Allow, give some strength for the legs. legs as well. So from here, we sweep the arms up and straighten that front leg, feeling the length of the side body and the length of the spine. We take the arms out to the side, so stabilizing the shoulders here. We look up and extend through the sternum, and we fold forward, bending the front knee. We're heading already to wherever we're comfortable. There's a length through the spine. Push through the front foot, front leg to get yourself back so that your crown of the head is facing towards the sky again. And lengthen through both arms and the front leg. Let the arms come down and then step forward or whichever way you feel you can get some connection through both feet instantly. Okay, so we're going to move on and do something you are very much more familiar with. So we're going to take our legs wide and we're going to come into the warrior series that we do. So legs are wider than we've had them previously. I'm going to take my left leg and bring my toes in. So I'm actually creating a turn with the whole of the leg and the thigh here. Opposite leg and turning so the toe points forward and I let that knee head towards the ankle. So I've got a bent knee that side, and then I get my arms up and out to the side. Bring my belly in slightly, as we did before. Feel the feet firmly through the ground. And I relax the shoulders down. We can do a little bit of movement to just find our center more naturally here. And stable. And then we'll do the sequence. So top arm over into side. Use the length and the support from the top arm to get you into neutral. Go into reverse, opposite arm back, the straight leg and top arm coming over the head. And back to where we started. Our breath coming into side. In breath, bring yourself back into warrior. Out breath over to reverse. In breath back to warrior 2. Out breath over to side. In breath back to center. Out breath to reverse. This is the last one. In breath back to warrior. And just look over the front, hands, relax the shoulders. Feel strong in the legs, bring the belly back into doing a little bit of work for you. Feel the length of the crown of the head. Feel the breath moving in the body still. And then release the hands. And if you can cope with doing straight to the opposite side, do it, not take a break in the middle. And then join me on the opposite side. So right feet in, left toes all the way out, bending on the second side. Arms out to come broadly in line with the shoulders, a little bit of movement from the hips. Small pelvis. And find your happy spot in the center. Relax the shoulders and the jaw, and then start the sequence. So breathing in here, breathing out, going over to side on the second side. Top arm helps you get back, breathing in. Second side, breathing out into reverse. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing Last one, breathing out. Breathing in, back to warrior. Looking through the just beyond the front hand, relax the shoulders, belly engaged again. Feeling lengthen through the spine. Feel the breath. And lower the arms. Let's get our legs back together. And just see how we feel standing before we come to the last part where we'll be lying on the floor. So how's the spine? So imagining the spine in your imagination, or feeling the spine. And just being aware of its movement, its length, its space. You could take one hand to center of your back and feel the breath in the back for a moment. Any movement there, just creating space in the spine and releasing the muscles around the shoulder and the shoulder. And gently release the arm. It's not always easy. Okay, so we're going to come down, lying on the mat, on our back. I'm just going to change setup for the camera, so it hopefully that'll clearer. Okay. So I'll join you. So coming down onto your back, and initially with the legs long, if that's comfortable for you, and the arms by the side, and whatever's comfortable, whether it's palms facing up, palms facing towards the body, or palms facing down, you decide. There are differences going on with the shoulders, depending on where you put your palms generally. But you just be comfortable for now and feel the whole length of the body. Whole length of the body. So finding either in your imagination, or it's more easy to feel here, the bottom of the spine, if you like, the tail end. As it goes through the pelvis. And then noticing the lower back. It's touching the floor, or how far it is away from the floor. The mid back around the base of the rib cage. Can you feel that area? Can you feel movement there? Somewhere between shoulder blades and the neck. Back of the neck. The spine rides up to connect to the skull somewhere. So between the ears, if you like, that kind of height, quite high up, sometimes higher than we think. And from here, just gently bring one foot to the floor and then the other foot to the floor. So knees are bent, feet are on the floor. We're just going to come up into some soft rolling bridges to get the little bit more suppleness in the back, a bit more release. So generally we know where we need to put our heels in order to get the support. So it needs to be not too far away, is my tip. Generally you'll get more support if the heels are just below the knees, broadly speaking, when you take the back off the floor. So again, you choose what you want to do with the arms here. So we're going to take a breath in and then just create an arch in the lower back if we can. And breathe out as we roll the pelvis, the lower back comes down. And again, we're going to take an arch, lower back as we breathe in. This time as we breathe out, we're taking the back down and we're picking the bottom up the floor. We lower the bottom back down, breathe in, create the arch. We breathe out, soften the back down, pick the bottom up and the lower back. Roll the back down gently and lightly lengthen as you do so. Breathing in to arch the back. Breathing out to soften the lower back, picking up the bottom, the lower back, and coming onto the base of the rib cage. Lengthen and softly rolling down as slow as you can. Arrive. Then take an in breath, create a bit more of an arch, rolling on your pelvis. Take the lower back down as you breathe out, pick the bottom up, pick the lower back up, and come up to the base of the shoulder blades. And again, lower all the way down, softly, 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 softly. And just land where you land. We're just going to leave it at that for that kind of 4-ish journey through the spine to just help it lengthen, soften, and release. So bringing the knees now into the chest for a moment and taking the hands to the knees and just doing little circles with the knees so that the lower back gets a little bit of a massage. And going the other way. So I think we're going to, I don't think we are going to let the feet return to the floor. Let's take the feet as wide as the mat. Let's take the arms out to the side if you've got space, not keep them a little bit closer. And let's take the knees over in one direction and let the head, if it's comfortable, look in the opposite direction. Bring the knees back up to center. Head back towards, looking up towards the sky, and knees over to the second side, head in the opposite direction. It's comfortable. And you choose your flow here. So whether you want to find a rhythm, whether you want to go with the breath, whether you want to pause as the knees come towards the ground on each side. So the knees are not together with this movement. If you prefer to have the knees closer together, please do. That is still, there's nothing wrong with that. This is just getting to different parts, if you like. So you choose if you prefer to have the knees closer together, then do. So a couple more times each side. And when you finish those two, don't rush. And again, lengthen the legs out for the final minute or so. And again, put the arms where they're comfortable, maybe a little bit closer to the body, or even hands on belly if that's kind of reassuring, and just let the whole body relax now. And just get a sense of the body from the heels up through the calves, up through the thighs, the bottom, up through the back, down the arms, a sense of the head resting on the floor. And as you notice your breath, really notice the breath in the back of the body. And if it's comfortable and makes sense, then just visualizing air coming up through the center of the spine rather than the outside. And when it gets to the skull, then imagine the breath, the air coming down the outside of the spine back to the tail. So you can take an in breath as you imagine air coming up through, creating spaciousness in the back. And an out breath as you imagine the air coming down the back of the spine. Creating the movement as you have that visual sense, maybe a real sense the awareness of the spine. So 3 more breaths here. Slightly fuller breaths or just natural breaths. And just to finish, we can lengthen, bring the legs like we did at the beginning, closer together, toes pointing up towards the seats if we're standing, and this time taking the arms overhead and lengthening through the whole body. A little bit of reach through the arms if that's comfortable. Belly comes in, a little bit of strong legs for a moment, and then gently bringing the arms up and back, and just giving the whole body a little bit of a shake out. Arms, legs. Let the breath go. Just to loosen up and freshen up and energize. And we'll roll over when you want to roll over. You can lie back down if that's what you feel would be helpful for a bit more restorative. So thank you for attending session 1, and I will see you hopefully for New Year week 2, 30-minute class next week. Thank you for coming.